Let's see if I remember how to do this. Welcome to the Battle Science Podcast, a Pokemon Go PvP podcast where we talk about Pokemon Go, PvP, and other Pokemon and the stuff and the things and stuff. I am one of your hosts, Steven, a.k.a. Boy in the Woods, joined as always by Jesse, a.k.a. Rocket and J.
Happy New Year!
I guess that's the thing. We went from a 2 to a 3. Where it is, I'm going to leave that to you. Hopefully you know how dates work. Also, dates are different in different regions, so that's always weird.
Happy New Year!
Calm down. Calm down. You do not have to do that. I can mute your mic over here.
Oh.
Uh,
It's okay. I don't like to listen to myself either.
no, I just don't need you to be like Happy New Year every 60 seconds.
I haven't kept count. Let's wait. Has it been 60 seconds?
I have no idea.
Okay. You're supposed to say check back again in 60 seconds.
No.
Happy New Year!
I swear. We've got a couple of things to go through today. Silph Arena is back again.
Back at it again at the Silph Arena.
I was going to say back at it like a bad habit. We've got a new Pokemon Go event that started today, which is going until...
Which I was surprised it started at 8. I thought it was going to start at 10 like everything else.
Oh, yeah, I got the little notification earlier today, and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that started. And then I was picking up food, and I popped open the game to spin a stop or two, and I was like, wait, why are there so many Dratini everywhere? Oh, the event started already. Because I apparently don't read notifications. And a couple of things that happened over the weekend we will cover in the world of Pokemon Go. So let's get into it.
With our awesome Patreon supporters.
Thank you for that. It has been a while, and I did almost forget how this whole thing operates. Our fantastic Triple Ps, Patreon podcast producers, over at patreon.com/battlescience. The wonderful people like Evo Stevo, Winston the Champ, Jamar, and Dan P, a.k.a. Sorov. Thank you for being Patreon podcast producers over at patreon.com/battlescience. You can join them over at patreon.com/battlescience and get the Battle Science podcast a few days early, as well as the Battle Science After Dark podcast, which is a Patreon exclusive for only $1 a month. Or as we've said before, you can back us for $1, be a patron for 1 month, and listen to all of the post B-SADs, and then leave if you so choose. That is an option. Or you can be like our wonderful Triple Ps. Back us at $5 or more, and we read your name at the beginning of the show. The reason I say that I'm not sure if I remember how this works is because we had a week off. Sort of.
Not by choice.
We had a power outage. So, also, why does it seem like I'm peaking? Interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on that. At least it's peaking through my headphones, so I don't know if it's crushing the audio.
Well, like I always mention, with our volumes, it's always easier to turn us down than to turn us up.
Yeah, I just with having so between a power outage the Tuesday we were going to record, and then that weekend was a gaming event that I was using all of our setup for live streaming. We did
Everything
not
got
get
mixed
to,
around.
we did not get to a Battle Science podcast during the last week of the year. So
We'll say that's our one excuse for a holiday.
sure. That's actually the first ever Battle Science podcast we've ever missed, technically speaking. We were on a roll for every other week for
Almost 2 years?
over 2 years. I think that would have been our third.
Wow.
Yeah, like 2.5 years.
But yeah, that windstorm sucked.
Yeah, the wind's kind of yo-yoed, come back, gone away, come back, gone away. It's dark out. You can't look out into my backyard and see the second tree that came down. I have to...
Oh, that reminds me. Chris had a tree fall through his parents' window.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, they're okay, but it's the one benefit and downfall of living in an area filled with beautiful trees is those trees die eventually and do fall over.
It was just through their window, though, right? Like, not through
Yeah.
the roof or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, like, a window is easier to replace than an entire roof and wall.
Yeah, but there are people out there in our area that weren't as lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome to the new year.
Yeah, 2023. Let's jump into it. I'm going to hit a button and maybe another button and maybe another button.
Giddy up now. This is the news roundup.
Another button after that. The news roundup, the first ever news roundup for 2023. We're going to go a couple days in the past and go to January 2023's Community Day, brand new Community Day. Chespin has been, Shiny Chespin has been unleashed. The brown beanie Shiny Chespin, although technically it's quills that are very spiky, and that's where it gets its fighting type because it can break rocks with it. Also becomes a carapace later or something. It's kind of wild.
Finally back to the starters.
Yeah, for the first time in
2 years.
2 years.
The last one was Empoleon in the January before.
January 20.
That would have been 2021.
Was it 2021 or was it 2019? Was it during the pandemic?
I can check 1 second.
Yeah. Check in our games for the first shiny Piplup you or I have.
Wouldn't you keep all of your shiny Piplups?
I don't transfer all of them, I'll tell you that. Yeah, Chespin came back. It has Frenzy Plant as a Chestnut. I had to look it up. It is a straight improvement. Or it is an improvement, damage, and energy requirement over Energy Ball. I thought Energy Ball was less damage and less energy. It turns out it is more damage and more energy. So,
It was 2019.
yeah, pre-pandemic. Yeah, the Chespin Community Day, it's back. Chestnut, it's okay. Is it technically a better Breloom?
Yeah, it's Breloom for Ultra and Master League.
Breloom has counter though, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Breloom is just better.
In Great League, yeah. Breloom has the counter Seed Bomb or
Grass Knot.
Grass Knot.
Goodness, excuse me. Goodness gracious. I'm wondering how many people at this point are doing the 4-star raid battles after the fact. Like, is that popular enough? Are they going to continue that?
I mean, there's obviously people doing it. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep doing it.
I guess so. I mean, I'm not against it for an accessibility standpoint for the people that can't play earlier, but it is kind of an odd, obtuse mechanic that
That screams, "We want more money."
Yeah. Also,
I mean, so here's my question: the dollar research that I know you normally are a fan of doing them, does that give you a raid pass?
Not that I know of.
That'd be a nice incentive.
That would make sense. Although the dollar research you can't buy after the first 3 hours.
Correct.
So even if you're still in community day after 5, that dollar research is not available. Which I'd like to see it be available after 5. I'd like to see it be available.
It's not a today
until 10.
research; it's a special research, though, isn't it?
Correct.
So it stays.
Correct. So you can buy it in advance, but it's just
Right.
after 2
You can't
or
get
after
it again.
5 because it's a 2 to 5 event.
Right.
For the standard spawns, and then the raids are from 5 to 10. At least in the case of this event. But that special research with Willow talking about Chespin is available up until 5 and then goes away from the shop, even though Chespin can still be spawning in the wild. It's an odd decision, I guess. They kind of came out with no, actually I guess I appreciate the quarter egg hatch distance, to be honest. But I'm sure other people would have preferred like candy and all that stuff. Or Stardust or XP.
I think they had the Stardust bonus, didn't they?
Did they? I don't know. Where? That might work. Okay. I don't think they had a Stardust bonus. I think it was just 2 times candy for catching Pokemon, 2 times chance for trainers level 31 and up to receive Candy XL from catching Pokemon. Quarter egg hatch distance, lure modules activated, incense activated, or snapshots, special trade increase, and 50% less Stardust for trades.
Okay.
So no increase in Stardust or anything. So interesting. Okay. Now jumping into the future. We haven't had the announcement for the next community day.
Other than Larvitar, no.
Well, you just ruined the surprise there. I wonder if we'll get February's community day in between now and Larvitar or after Larvitar. But Community Day Classic for January 2023. This should be, I think they're doing them once a season, so this is going to be the only Community Day Classic for the next 3 months. Saturday, January 21st from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. local time. Community Day Classic returns with the rock skin Pokemon Larvitar. Larvitar will appear more frequently in the wild. Its shiny will be boosted, and Tyranitar or Pupitar, evolve Pupitar during the hours from 2 to 7. So during the event or up to 2 hours afterwards to get Tyranitar that knows Smackdown. Not the first time it's been around. It's had one community day. This is the rerun of that community day from,
2018, I think, 2017.
It was a very early community
It was an
day.
early one.
But it's not the first time that it's Smackdown on Tyranitar has come around.
Right.
Special research story.
They did it during Johto Tour.
Yes, at least. I know they've done it a time or two beyond that. I don't know if I have anything going on the 21st. I'm pretty sure I have something going on the 22nd.
Is that a Saturday or a Sunday?
I believe this is a Saturday because the Sunday is the 22nd. Yeah, this is a Saturday. Show me all of my calendar. I do not have anything going on the 21st, as I am aware of. Neat. So, not that I am absolutely necessary. It is absolutely necessary to go out and get these for me. But event bonuses. So $1 community day research, community day special research story, Larvitar community day classic. Pay $1, get a couple bonuses. Basically get your incense included. So you break even with incense. You get 1 incense from that research. You use one incense, its duration is 3 hours. You're basically done and dusted there. I think it gives you a lure module, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look back to see what all it gets you as far as additional. I know it gets you a rocket radar as well for the leaders, not for Giovanni.
Oh, if they gave that for $1, I'd be doing it every month.
Yeah,
One step closer to my sexy suit.
I keep forgetting that it gives you the additional rocket radar. So I do a rocket a day or so after Community Day, and I'm like, oh, cool. Wait, why am I getting another one? Oh, I just got a rocket radar from that research, the dollar research. So, and then 3 times XP for catching Pokemon for the event bonuses. Lure modules activated during the event will last for 3 hours. Incense, excluding daily adventure incense, activated during the event will last for 3 hours. And take a few snapshots during Community Day Classic for a surprise.
Yeah, don't make that mistake and use the daily incense during community days.
Yeah, I mean it'll give you boosted Larvitar, but it will not last. It will not last 3 hours. So that was the 21st. That is coming up here in a couple of weeks. So do set your calendars if you are interested in that.
Do note on that though that Tyranitar is one of the ones that will eventually get a Mega as well.
Yes, it should get a Mega here
Fairly soon.
If not right after. Did we get a what's happening in January list of things?
Not that I saw. They've been pretty quiet about it because I think they're mostly focused on the tour coming up.
Go Tour.
But I would say find, if you can, for Community Day, if you don't already have a good Larvitar, go out and find one find your hundo for Tyranitar's Mega when it does become available, or stock up on the candy so that when it does become available as a Mega Raid, you can also farm those for hundos. Mega Tyranitar does still keep its normal typing as Rock and Dark. It just gets a huge defense increase.
That's helpful.
It's kind of like the thing with Blastoise where it's its defense went really high, but its HP and attack stayed about the same.
I'm going to the Pokemon Go app on Twitter. Looking through their Twitter to see if we've got anything from before January or leading up into January. Oh, here we go. January content update. Mythical Wishes, 5-star raids. I feel like we talked about this, but I'm not 100% sure we did. So we have, so in 5-star raids, Zekrom's showing up here, and then we have Regice and then Tapu Koko to end January, with Tapu Koko Shiny being released. Mega raids, Mega Steelix.
Wait. They're going Zekrom, Regice, and then Tapu Koko?
Tapu Koko. Let me pull this up here for you.
Steven,
what's up?
Turn around real quick.
Hey, man, you keep giving me lucky hundos.
You can have it as a male or female. It's a female that could be turned from a Frostlass, or you can do a Glalie.
Is Hundo Frostlass worth
No.
keeping? Okay. I mean, there's your answer. Yeah, so they're January 18th through January 25th is Regice, and then January 25th through February 1st is Tapu Koko with a chance to be shiny.
You should Google it shiny.
The Tapu, no, I know the Tapu shiny
line is very nice.
Cool. The Tapu shiny line is fantastic. Mega raids, we have Salamence until January 18th, Mega Lopunny until January 25th, and Mega Aerodactyl from January 25th to February 1st. Let's see. Twinkling Fantasy event, which we'll get into here in a moment. Go Battle Weekend, Steven Stone, January 14th through 15th, so that's this weekend.
There you go. That's what they want you to do this weekend.
Oh, that's why we're not having a raid event, because it's Go Battle weekend. That makes sense. Maybe I'll spend a day and do some GBL and start that Nuzlocke that I'm wanting to do. I found some of the research or some of the stat stuff that I need for a Pokemon Violet Nuzlocke, because I want to force myself to try. Do I do a Nuzlocke and make it harder for myself, or do I just play Violet but force myself to make a random team?
I think the latter.
It's not a bad idea.
I think you'd get too frustrated with a Nuzlocke.
I might. I think I'm underestimating the challenge of what a Nuzlocke will be.
Yeah, you are. I know I did.
Okay, so maybe that's what I'll do. January 19th through January 23rd, Lunar New Year 2023.
And we talked about what we speculated on that might be.
Bunnies. Well, I mean, Mega Lot Bunny is during that period anyway. So
that's a given.
yeah, there you go. January 21st, January Community Day Classic. So that's Larvitar. And January 27th through February 5th, Crackling Voltage event. So that is a electric type event.
That makes sense for Tapu Koko then.
Makes sense for Tapu Koko. I think we'll get well, no, we already have Mega Manectric and Mega Aerodactyl is during that period of time.
Gross.
In part during that period of time. What other electric?
Megas?
No. I'm just trying to think of like what. Is there Hoenn stuff that we could see for an electric event?
I mean, we still don't have Zorua. Or Zoroark, sorry.
I doubt we see Zoroark. It's getting its own season kind of thing.
Probably. And if anything, that'd be a ticket thing.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of the electric families, what we don't have yet. And there's not a lot. Electric gets put out pretty quick.
They are showing that. So today, as we're recording, is Swirlix Spotlight Hour.
Mm-hmm.
C-Dot is what we're getting next week. Yeah. With 2 times XP for catching Pokemon. Dynamo is after that on January 24th. And then January 31st is Blitzel with 2 times candy for transferring Pokemon.
So both those being electric.
Yes. Dynamo's shiny hasn't been released yet. Though that is a community day.
That could be your when's the
February
event
5th.
with it?
February 5th.
Okay.
I don't see Dynamo being the community day. Like you and I have discussed, community days generally don't tie in with the
events.
week to 2 week events.
Yeah.
They'll tie into a season maybe, but they generally don't tie in to
Now I'm racking my brain trying to think what electric types we don't have the Urchin from Galar.
Pincurchin?
Yeah. That could be something they introduce.
Maybe, but that also feels a little early.
Yeah. With Niantic, anything's early.
I'm gonna do a quick check to see. Let's see.
Search
Pokemon
Pokedex Electric.
Go. That's true. Pokedex. We're gonna go to the one that I like the most, Cerebi, and we're gonna go via electric. It's electric.
I mean, there's no way they introduce
Nope.
Scarlet and Violet stuff.
Nope. Yep. Nope.
Toxel would be interesting.
That's a Galar though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. If anything, we see Ember.
Oh. More good boys.
Let's see. I think
we just got shiny Dedenne.
I think a Grubbin community would be great.
Grubbin.
We could get a Helioptile
Gross.
shiny.
Gross.
Maybe. I mean,
Gross.
it's one we don't have. We don't have base Stunfisk shiny. We don't have Dynamo shiny. We don't have Joltik shiny. Or Emolga.
I was trying to think. It's not Emolga that's regional. It's Pachirisu.
Yeah. Rotom. We don't have base Rotom.
That's such a missed opportunity for Halloween.
We don't have base Rotom. We have like three of the four forms that we
have
don't
two.
have. Gross.
Mo and Wash.
It's just a shame. What a shame.
I still think it would be really cool if we could have regular Rotom and then take a picture of an appliance and it turns into
I'd love that too, but I have no idea technically how that works.
What if they Rotom Takeover, where the game becomes corrupted because of Rotom's taken over it?
Okay, I really like that idea.
I know, right?
Niantic, you have my green light to take that and do that.
Watch that would be an awesome April Fool's thing.
That would be an awesome Go Fest thing.
Because I think it was Alola's
That would be a great Ghost Fest thing, but you don't lead into it at all. You're just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be this other thing,
and then
it just happens, and like Willow,
the mass panic,
like Willow doesn't show up, but it's like a Rotom Dex or whatever. It's like Rotami or whatever. You're like, whoa, oh my god, whoa. I like it. It might be the XLR cable. That might be what's giving me this weird compression stuff that I'm when I get loud, it like crunches. That might just be what it is. I'm thinking about getting new mics anyway. Don't convince me any further.
But yeah, interesting electric event coming up.
Yeah, Helioptile might be kind of mine because no one really cares about Helioptile. What does its shiny look like?
It's like burnt, isn't it?
Huh. Yeah, it kind of looks like it got sunburned from the eyes down. That's rough, buddy.
You hit the tanning bed a little too hard.
What's its evolution? It's cool, though. It's interesting that not all of that yellow changes to the, like, burnt orange. It's kind of bizarre. Also, it evolves with the Sunstone.
Yep.
So,
which in Pogo has been Univastone.
Interesting. Yeah, it's bizarre. But I could kind of see it. That's one that kind of just, it's been around. It's been in the wild spawns. Wouldn't surprise me. Let's see. And that will end it for February. So on to the current event. Live your own whimsical adventure in the Twinkling Fantasy event. Trainers, you can surround yourself in a circle of fairy type Dedenne, battle with the dragon Pokemon, Mega Salamence, and more during the upcoming Twinkling Fantasy event. What fantastic tales will you create with this trove of dragon and fairy type Pokemon? Twinkling Fantasy, Tuesday, January 10th to Monday, January 16th from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. local time. Mega Salamence makes its debut. Mega Salamence will make its Pokemon Go debut in Mega Raids. Mega Salamence, if you're lucky, you may encounter a shiny one. That's the thing. Event bonuses, 2 times XP for successfully catching Pokemon with nice throws, great throws, and excellent throws. Additional candy for successfully catching Pokemon with nice throws, great throws, and excellent throws. And increased chance for trainers level 31 and up to receive XL candy for successfully catching Pokemon with nice throws, great throws, and excellent throws. So practice those. Warm up your arms and practice those throws. The better your throw, the better rewards you will get. Wild encounters. Following Pokemon will appear more frequently in the wild. Also, for the first time in Pokemon Go, you'll be able to encounter shiny Dedenne if you're lucky. I imagine it's going to be base odds, so maybe slightly boosted. As long as they don't remove Dedenne from the spawn pools afterwards, Dedenne feels like it's been spawning in the wild somewhat
it's pretty
frequently.
consistent.
So, yeah, fingers crossed they don't just remove it from the pools after this event. But Clefairy, Clefable, Jigglypuff, Dratini, Togetic, Marill, Ralts, Vibrava, Bagon, Dino, and Dedenne are your wild encounters. If you're lucky, you might encounter the following: Goomy and Noibat. And remember, Noibat's shiny is out, so you have a chance of getting that.
Pinab those 9abs.
What?
Pinab the Noibats.
That's true. Noibat, I imagine we get a community day, maybe this summer, or we get Gumi. Although Gumi Shiny would have to be released ahead of time, so I'm getting them out of order, aren't I? Or am I?
Gumi was before Noibat, or they might be the same gen.
I think they're the same gen.
5 and 6 are kind of a blur for me.
Yeah. Do I still have the Pokedex open? I do still have the Pokedex open. Give me a second. I'll switch over to Dragon. Let's see. So in Gen... Yeah, 706 is Gudra and 715 is Noivern. So that is within X and Y. And actually, within X and Y... Oh, no, I take that back. We'll have Axew Community Day first. We'll have Axew Community Day first.
Yeah, because that was black and white.
Because that's actually a more... It's a lower dex entry than Dino, and we've had Dino's Community Day already.
Yeah.
So, Axew is 610. Dino is 633. Dragalge is 691, so that is within Kalos. Tyrant and Tyrantrum, Rock Dragon fossils, are also within Kalos. Gumi, Noibat, and Zygarde are also within Kalos. And then we don't get... The next dragons we'll get are going to be in Alola with Turtonator, Drampa, Jamango, which is out in the in-game. But it's going to take years for us to get Jamango Community Day at this point.
Unless they just flip-flop everything.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll have Axew this summer. Gumi the next summer. Noibat the summer after that. It's going to take us 4 years to get to Jamango. Gross.
Unless they do it 1 year with double dragons.
Yeah. That's right. Dreepy was Galar's.
Yep.
Excuse you, Parker. Slamming into things. Yeah, I think they might do something different with Noibat and Applin being dragons that are only 2 tiers, although Applin has a split evolution, so we'll see.
That one feels like it'll be a... I don't want to say regional evolution, but I mean at this point...
Well, it's based on item, so they might just do it random. Like, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
Like with Burmy and stuff?
Yeah.
Or not Burmy, Wurmple.
Yeah, with Wurmple, that wouldn't surprise me if they do it with a random evolution, which sucks because one is going to be arguably better, or not even arguably. One is going to be much better built for Pokemon
PvP.
Go PvP than the other. Yeah, one of them... Overall stat product is higher on Appletun versus Flapple. And Flapple is more attack and speed based, whereas Appletun is more defense based. So
it's based.
Oh, no, sorry. HP and defense.
Right.
Versus speed and
speed
and offense. Yeah, so a 110 Appleton has a 110 HP versus a 70 on Flapple. That's a big difference. Base attack is 110 on Flapple. Appleton is an 85. Special attack is 80 on both. I imagine this is base defense is 95 and 100, so 95 on Flapple and 100 on Appleton. And then 60 special defense on Flapple and 80 special defense on Appleton, and then a 70-30 on speed. So, yeah, that's going to make some differences. Say cheese. So this event, Smile, you might have a surprise encounter with a dragon or fairy type Pokemon when you take a snapshot during the Twinkling Fantasy event. I haven't done a snapshot. Have you done a snapshot?
I got a Jigglypuff.
Okay. Is it like a border of all of the Pokemon featured or no?
Nope, just one at a time.
Whack. Collection challenge, which does not seem all that difficult to complete. Complete the Twinkling Fantasy Collection challenge to receive 50 Salamence Mega Energy, a challenge or a charge TM, and a fast TM. Yay. Field research task encounters for Clefairy, Dratini, Bagon, and Dedenne. If you're lucky, you will find a Goomy. In raids, 1-star raids, Jigglypuff, Marill, Axew, Dino. 3-star raids, Mawile, Dredigan, and Dedenne. 5-star raids, Zekrom with its shiny released. And mega raids, Mega Salamence. Zekrom caught between January 10th and January 18th will know Fusion Bolt, which is its signature move. Trainer battles, it is a 90 power. Gyms and raids, it is a 140 base power. Which actually it doesn't get adjusted except by Mega Boost, so it's 140. I was going to say, why am I calling Gyms and Raid 140 base power? Well, it still can get modified. It just can't get modified by stat changes. Because stat changes are for battles, and Gyms and Raids are just tapping challenges. Or something. Well, again, it is a base power just because Mega Pokemon can still boost that attack, so that can get higher. Goodness gracious. How are the trades going?
Good.
Okay.
The few Pokemon that are in this event, all, in my opinion, are good to go after if you are interested in competitive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of decent Pokemon. Obviously, Azumarill still holding a place up there in top 20 for PvP. Dragonite now with Superpower, a lot more relevant in every tier of the leagues. Togekiss still very useful in all 3 leagues as well. Ralts outside of PvP is also a good one to go after because it will be getting 2 Megas eventually in both Gallade and Gardevoir. Bagon's good if you want to stock up for a Salamence if you happen to find a good one, either in the wild here or raiding for the Mega. Dino's probably one you can avoid if you didn't already get a good one from Community Day. And then Clefairy and Jigglypuff. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Wigglytuff in Great League. I've got a rank 5 shiny that I've had since one of the first Go Fests, and with that normal and fairy typing, it's a very strong counter to things like Sableye, which are still incredibly relevant. Sableye, Trevenant, most of the fighters, just really hates the steel. If you are in a mirror against an A9, it will slightly lose to A9, but not before all leaving a dent. So if you don't have a good Alolan Ninetales or another fairy type that you already like more, I highly recommend Wigglytuff. It's one of my personal favorite fairy type charmers. Clefairy is more useful as Clefable in Ultra League than it is in Great League, just because Wigglytuff has to be maxed or close to max for Ultra League, but for Clefable, it is useful as one of the few non-flying fairy types in Ultra League.
I think the only thing you can kind of safely avoid is Vibrava.
Yeah.
Because Flygon just doesn't have the same performance anymore.
That's right.
And with Frostlass being as, I don't want to say common, but as useful of a tool in GBL, Flygon just doesn't have a whole lot of hope. I mean, it's got some spam, but it's very fragile.
It's fragile. That's the one thing. That's one of the ones that I think we talked about. It's like, that could have used a Mega. Yeah.
It could have been a bug. Rather than a ground, it could have been a bug.
You got a comment. I can't see what
a
is.
shame. I see it.
Okay. Yeah, stock up on your Marills. Stock up on... It's a good event to just farm. I hit the limit.
Huh?
Here.
Oh.
I would like to redeem a hydrate.
I've already been hydrating. This bottle used to be much more full.
Well, I haven't. Personally, I think I will go after maybe 2 or 3 Salamence raids. Mega Salamence in the OU for the generation that came out was incredibly powerful, but this was before fairies were much, much more conveniently available.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, actually, the Mega came out with the introduction of fairies
you're right.
in that same generation. So,
But even in that generation, it was incredibly powerful, and it still is in its own right.
mm-hmm.
But personally, not what I'm going to go hype for because Rayquaza's better.
Well, yes, but like it's something to beat Rayquaza. It's like the second or third based dragon type attacker. So, Mega Salamence will be useful. Salamence will be useful for about a week.
Right. It's also one of the, I think, only Mega Dragon flying. Because Dragonite doesn't get one. We'll have Garchomp eventually. Rayquaza, I don't think they'll consider. I'll be interested. We're not sure on those yet. Because I argue with people that Delta Rayquaza is not a Mega. But it is the same mechanic.
It will be the same mechanic.
So then it'll be your second Dragon flying.
Yep. All right. Now off to Battleland. Let me finish that phrase. Within our meta-analysis, or not meta-analysis, wow, the news roundup. Over the weekend, the Play Pokemon tournament within San Diego wrapped up. Continued, and wrapped up. Our top, let's see, what are we looking at here?
Top seniors?
Well, yes, the senior bracket. Why is, I see, because that's where people lost and stuff. I don't even know what our top 8 are here, reading it. Your winner, Ramberto, 777. What are these numbers? Is that, who won by how many?
Yeah.
Interesting. So Caleb Pang coming in second, getting the bracket reset, but still losing to Ramberto after the bracket reset in grand finals in San Diego. Coming in third looks like Kong Laser. In fourth, I have absolutely no idea how to read this right. I wish they would just post the rankings. That would be great. Ramberto 777, regional champion for San Diego, with a team of Noctowl, Frostlass, Umbreon, Galarian Stunfisk, Trevenant, and Medicham. I'm not surprised. I don't know. Should I be surprised here?
I mean, most of those have been pretty prevalent. I think some of the newer additions is Frostlass replaces Walrein, more or less.
Yeah.
Noctowl definitely became more relevant with the Wing Attack update.
Mm-hmm.
And Umbreon is probably the safest swap-in option on that team.
Yes. I'm nodding my head, but that doesn't come through a microphone unless I smack my forehead on the microphone. Yeah, it's going to take us a while. It's going to take either a move update or some brand new Pokemon for us to see.
I mean, the same 3 on the... It feels like the top 3 are the weird ones. The bottom 3 are the as expected ones.
I don't think the top 3 are really all that weird. That's the thing. Like Umbreon, we've seen Umbreon. It's been a consistent performer for quite a while.
Right.
Noctowl's kind of come and gone a little bit in thanks to, I think in a small part to Jamar. Jamar's use in Vancouver last season.
Yep.
But I think it's always kind of performed. It hasn't been on quite everybody's radar. So realistically, I think Noctowl is probably the one kind of surprise that I see here.
Okay.
But knowing it's
what it's capable of.
Yeah, knowing what it's capable of. Yeah, it's
also one of the only flying types that can contest against G-Fisk.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the statistical matchup, but yeah, its overall performance is solid. So, I don't know if we ever see Wing Attack buff. Just makes it much better. Yes. Spoken from the expert. We've got Jamar in the chat here.
Hey, welcome in, bud.
I don't know if we'll get if flying type moves, if another flying type, Pharaoh or something.
Give me Pharaoh. Give it Gust.
Peaked. I wonder. Give me 1 second. Properties. Nope. I want advanced audio properties. Yeah. I wonder if we see. Let me crank this down to something not.
It was also just me peeking. Relax.
No, it doesn't peak like that in other instances. That's, I think, better. It like never peaks like that. I can hear it in my headphones.
Okay.
That it got like bit crushed. So, I do apologize if the audio is odd for this episode. Again, episode off and using this PC for other audio stuff where I had to finagle it. I don't know if Pharaoh is really something that can like come in and perform like it.
Like I'm expecting.
I don't know if it can penetrate the meta. Even with a move update, I don't know what flying type can come into the meta and really make it.
Right.
Or if that's a combo of we need a new flyer with maybe a better type combo, as well as we need better flying moves. I don't know. But I think Noctowl is kind of the what we got. Besides like something like Skarmory, but even then,
Yeah, I'm surprised not as many Skarmory. But I think that's just because once you see G-Fisk, can't do anything to it.
Mm-hmm. All right. We are in a month with a self meta, so we will talk about a self meta. Is this considered a smooth transition over to a meta analysis?
Yep.
Oh goodness. Oh boy goodness. And I push buttons. And I do things. And hopefully everything works.
Welcome to the meta-analysis.
I make myself giggle. All right. Yep, that's something's off. This bothers me. Ember Cup, January 1st through January 31st, 2023. Wave 1, or first half of Wave 1 for the Silph Arena. Ember Cup, if you like weird metas, this is for you. What are allowed are electric types, fire types, grass types, and ground types, as well as things like Poliwrath, or well, not things like. These are also allowed. Poliwrath, Primeape, Machamp, Galarian, no, Surfetch'd, not Galarian, Farfetch'd, just Surfetch'd. Hisuian Quillfish, Alolan Muck, Malamar, and Honchkrow, because none of those have typings that are available. You have,
But they're allowed.
but they're allowed because reasons. I don't know. But what is banned are dragons, rock, steel, any mud boys. So any ground waters, they are banned. Abomasnow, Diggersby, Dugtrio, Lantern, Nidoqueen, Ninetales, Pachirisu, Salazzle, regular Stunfisk, Unova Stunfisk, I should say, and Whimsicott. Also, Shadows and Megas are banned. Shadows haven't always been banned, but pretty consistently. Jamar is saying weird meta, but also condensed.
It is.
I've not looked at it really almost at all, to be honest.
And our tournament's on Friday.
I'm not ready.
Make sure you put yourself as unranked.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna rank this season. I don't have the mental capacity to want to care. So we have. I would almost call this a whitelisted meta.
Yeah.
I could run Shaman.
Sure.
Yes. Let's see. Jamar saying Charizard, Poly, Gliscor, Piloswine, and Hisuian Qwilfish.
Yep.
I love that Hisuian Electrode is just large. Both its sprite here and its sprite somewhere else is just large. Its image in Silph is just larger than everything else.
Yep.
Yeah, it is humorous. You can pick whatever for the 6th. You won't bring it. Shaman. I'll have to look through to see if I have. Let's see. Charizard, Poliwhirl. No, Poliwrath. Sorry. Poliwrath, Gliscor, Piloswine, and
what are you talking
Hisuian
about,
Qwilfish.
Jamar? Don't underestimate my secret weapon in Ludicolo.
Gross. So this is kind of an interesting one with electric, fire, grass, and ground, but then also let's just add some like poison darks, fighting, and then some darks. So although Poliwrath isn't it's a fighting type only in type, not in like usage. I guess it has a charge move that's fighting, but like it runs Mudslap.
Your first mistake is assuming I'm running Bubble.
Trev or regular Electrode can work, or Electivire. Yeah, Electivire with Ice Punch is an interesting one too. Primeape with Ice Punch helps out here.
Yeah. One concept I tossed around was an all Ice Punch Mud Bomb team. Fast firing ground team.
I don't. Machamp
honestly is surprisingly effective at just punching things really hard and winning.
I imagine having Rock Slide there is helpful for the few flyers that show up.
Just punch them with Cross Chop.
Okay.
It's stupid how strong it is.
Is it? Okay. I feel for whatever reason I've gotten the feeling that Machamp's usage has gone down and down and down, and like it's gotten less and less relevant. So.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't have the girth that Medicham has.
Which is banned here, so maybe that's why it's a little bit better. Surfetched
is amazing because it has utility.
Yeah.
It has answers to the grounds and waters and Poliwrath with Leaf Blade.
Mm-hmm. And Night Slash is going to, I think, be...
It's going to beat most of the sub-ghosts and also power up those counters against the darks.
Yeah, it's just a pretty good multi-tool there. Hisuian Qwilfish is, I don't...
Poison Jab, Aqua Tail, Shadow Ball.
Yeah. They need to rerun that event, to be honest. Because it was only available in eggs.
Yep.
I don't...
Or no, that one spawned in the wild.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was the other two. It was Growlithe and Sneasel. Was it still Sneasel or was it Sneasler? Because Sneasler is the evolution. Yeah, so no. Hisuian Sneasel was only from eggs.
Okay, I do
Voltorb and Qwilfish were available in wild.
Oh, you need to win 10 raids to... Oh, I don't even need to evolve it. That's right. It's not Overquill.
Nope.
Fascinating.
Malamar is a very unique one in the sense that it doesn't win most of its matchups, but that's assuming that they shield. Malamar is really good at pressuring for shields. But outside that, it's not really great.
Yeah, conceptually, this one feels kind of odd. Of like, okay, I don't know.
I will say, as an introduction cup to a new season, I feel there's an accessibility insurance issue.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that as you kind of look at the picks here.
So I have an Ember simplified meta from at Mystics _ Harry. I feel like I'm mispronouncing that, but I'm also pretty sure I'm not. This was via the goodness gracious, the Silph Resources tab here on silph.gg/cup/ember, where you can find all of that information. There's also a meta simplified via PvP Steve.
Do you mind opening that one?
The meta simplified?
From the graphic 2 down. That one.
That one's going to be a lot more complicated, and it's also
Usually,
the graphic itself is not in Spanish, but I've got two meta, quote unquote, meta simplified here.
Okay, I thought that the second one was from PvP Steve.
No,
if you there, yeah, that one's fine.
You have your grasses. You've got your grass ghosts. They're going to beat out your darks and grounds. Or just your grounds, actually. I take that back. Gliscor, Piloswine, Runerigus, and Gligar. The grounds are going to beat your electrics. Haha, who would have guessed? In Zapdos. I don't know anyone. I'll laugh if someone brings that Zapdos. You know what? Go for it. Do it. I'm not going to tell you no. Zapdos, Raikou, Galvantula, and Electivire. Electivire can also beat grounds with Ice Punch, so watch yourself.
I mean, a lot of these matchups kind of flip in certain scenarios as well. But I'll let you finish going through the circle before I share my thoughts.
The electrics will beat the fires? It's weird. In Charizard, Victini, Moltres, and Alolan Marowak. I don't know if that's quite.
I think it's their general use.
I don't know if that's quite accurate there. And then fires beat the grasses.
So in your grass pile, take everything but Trevenant out.
Because Trevenant's the bar.
There's too many things with ice or flying or fire, and half of the electrics have something that also beat grass. With Galvantula having lunge, with Electivire having Ice Punch, and Zapdos having Drill Peck. The only other unfortunate thing here is that if everyone is running Hisuian, Quillfish, or assumingly Piloswine or Charizard, Trev can't beat any of those. So I think grasses are a very niche option for this cup. Saying that they can be the answer to the ground types, there's hundreds of other things that beat grounds as well, which I think more of your core breakers on the side there in Quillfish and Poliwrath are much better suited to beat the grounds than the grass types themselves. I think grass doesn't have the ability to be effective in this cup, in my opinion. In your grounds, from what I'm looked at, Runerigus is a very interesting option, but with the amount of dark running around and potentially flyers with Charizard, Runerigus is a lot less appealing as a ground type. It's more appealing as a ground type than it is a ghost type, because in the ghost section, you have Trevenant, you have Gourgeist, you have Marowak, and you have Runerigus. In those ghost matchups, Trev wins against every other ghost because the Shadow Claw damage adds up so quickly. It outspeeds Marowak, but the benefit is you have to be running Fire Spin on Marowak. And I think even then, Trev still can beat Marowak. It's shield dependent because it's bait dependent. But the other ones, Gligar is king of this cup, and it's Gligar with return.
Let's see.
And that's assuming that it shields the grass.
Trevenant wins with 16 HP.
But that's assuming Seed Bomb is what shield.
Yes. That's true.
So that's assuming, again, calling the bait.
Jamar says, this is one of the faction metas right now, so I've been seeing it for a few weeks. The meta is condensed, but it's not too RPS. It's very much a shield and energy advantage meta.
And that's really what it comes down to is, are you going to make the right prediction?
Gross.
Yeah. That's why I personally don't feel it's a great... If I was someone coming in looking at this meta, sure, I can go pick grass, fire, ground, electric and run off that. But when you look at it from a deeper analytical perspective, it's very daunting because it's like, if you want to jump over to the usage stats on Silph and bring that up, Poliwrath has been readily accessible, so there's no reason people don't have a Poliwrath. Whereas Charizard also has been available, but this is Charizard with wing attack specifically. And then Quillfish.
Elite TMs have been
available.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I haven't used a single Elite TM.
And it's a fast one too, so it's not a terrible loss.
Yeah, there's not a whole heck of a lot of fast moves that require Elite TMs. So
if you're going to invest in your Charizard, here's your chance to make your wing attack.
Jamar says, my strat. Lose the lead and gain a shield and farm whatever down with Poly or Zard.
Yeah. And that's a very strong tactic, but again, it's the numbers don't lie. Piloswine's an interesting one. It is the anti-ground and anti-flyer. Again, Gligar is the one with return. That's exclusive to purified ones. Gliscor doesn't perform as well as Gligar, but it is same kind of role as far as usage goes. Hold on.
I'm seeing the effects for windy weather, but it's not windy weather. It's partly cloudy. So,
I think this meta is really all over the place. If you really want to get into it and get in deep, go to PvPoke or sites like PvPoke and try building some teams with what you have available and see what you like. I personally like Marowak and Galvantula because they're both very aggressive with shields and also come with the added bonus effect of having utility and coverage. So 2 personal picks of mine are Galvantula and Marowak. Charizard just overperforms in this cup, unfortunately, so that when you look at it on PvPoke, it's the Dragon Claw pressures everything because literally nothing is resisting it. But I feel like Galvantula and Marowak, especially Marowak with having access to Bone Club, one of the very few fast move ground types in this cup, is really going to be effective at knocking out some of those bigger things like Quillfish. I've toyed with Hex Marowak as an option for faster energy generation to get to moves more. Fire Spin still wins majority of the matchups just for damage. What was the other one I was looking at this morning? Electivire is really useful. Another one, Luxray. But Luxray with Snarl and Psychic Fangs.
You're looking at a 1% chance or 1% usage there.
I know.
But
it's one of those things that in the front can cause pressure for them to either have to use a shield or to set up for something that comes in next. I like things that debuff and cause you to make you use shields.
Yeah, I don't really know what my team building experience is going to be like here. So I have
when in doubt, use Machamp and just punch things. Primeape's also good because it does have Ice Punch as well. So a team with Primeape, Electivire, and Poliwrath, that's the other one. They all have Ice Punch. So you can cover whatever you need to with that ice weakness, the grounds. There's another one I was looking at. Hippowdon is really interesting in this cup. But Piloswine poops on Hippowdon.
Right, because it's a pure ground.
Yeah. But with Hippowdon, you can have utility.
Mm-hmm.
It's recommended Ice Fang,
Mm-hmm.
but you can also run Thunder or Fire Fang. And then it has access to Rock Weather Ball, Body Slam, or Earth Power.
I'm not quite sure where, other than a Poliwrath counter, where Thunderfang Hippowdon is helpful. Though,
flying like Charizard.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it goes to super effective versus an Ice Fang that is a lot better coverage, but is neutral against Charizard.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Poliwrath and Ludicolo are the only water types in this meta.
Yeah, and Ludicolo would be taking neutral on the electric, so...
Oh, it's neutral on both.
Or Thunderfang. So, yeah, Thunderfang, I guess, is... no, Thunderfang is doing super effective against Poliwrath. So I guess if you want a super effective fast move against Poliwrath and Charizard, you can run
Thunderfang
Hippo.
But then you're better off just running an electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat, I guess. It's a one, you can play it as a...
Another strat that I looked at was Bubble Power Up Punch Poliwrath. Because there's no good water type in this meta.
Well, I mean, because they're, like, not allowed. Like, Mud Boys are just not here. So,
right.
Yeah.
But my thought was, instead of getting caught on bad matchups against something like Gligar or Charizard, have a Bubble Poliwrath that just becomes more stronger with Bubble. Because you can't get... I mean, you can get to Scald fairly quickly, and that gets rid of shields, but I just like trying different strategies and thinking out of the box. And it's pretty impressive close ratios for Bubble Power Up Punch Poliwrath. It actually beats Victini then.
So they did announce November's Cup as well, or not November, February's Cup as well. The Naiad Cup. Am I pronouncing that right?
Naiad?
I think so. I imagine so. But we will get into that in the next episode. That
as
also,
we'll be closer into February at that point.
Yeah, that also looks kind of complicated. So if you don't really want to do this cup, you can always do next cup.
Right.
It's just the amount of battles you do over the course of the 2 months that matters, and less about participating in all. There's a Goomy here, wild Goomy spawn. Check that, Jesse.
Okay.
707 CP. This might be decent. It ain't shiny though, and it can't be shiny, which is a bummer. I want my banana slug.
But yeah, if anyone is looking, after hearing all that, if anyone is looking for a Silph Arena tournament to play in, we are hosting a remote tournament.
Oh, it's too big.
Is it?
Oh, those stats are great though.
Oh, yes.
And it evolves and it's too high.
What about for Ultra? I use Goodra in Ultra.
Maybe.
But like I was saying, we do have a cup coming out for remote play over the month as of this Friday. So if you're listening to this podcast recording as of Friday or sooner, Friday, 5 p.m. PST, I will be posting the check-in code here shortly. If anyone would like to jump in, join into the Discord. Links are below or in the description. Once you join in, go to the...
I transferred it.
Bruh.
Oh, I went to check stats and I transferred it.
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, again, if you want to join our Discord for a tournament, just jump in, tag me, and I'll help you out. It wasn't available for Ultra League.
Really?
Yeah.
Even in second form?
Yeah.
All right, well. That still pisses me off. That still pisses me off a lot. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about Naiad Cup next podcast.
Yeah,
yes.
wow. It has to be under... It was 2 levels too high.
Dang. TJ's running Cindy Cast for him.
So, to be fair, that is bulky, and it does have quite a bit of spam.
True. I mean, he's running Charizard and Sunny Cast Farm,
Right, but he's probably running Charizard Wing Attack.
I guess. Interesting.
Yeah, I was looking that over, and it's like, wow, that's a little bit of diversity, but there's a lot of
It's a whole lot of Hisuian Quillfish.
Quillfish and Pylos.
That also, yep. Someone's using Braxian.
I did see that. That was interesting.
Raichu, Trevenant, Braxian, Venusaur, Leafeon, and Primeape. They're running Leafeon too.
I mean, Quick Attack Leafeon with return.
Riblet with the Moltres. Yeah. Not the only Moltres, but yes.
Moltres can be scary, though. It's got ancient power as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this meta's... I don't know. I'm just... maybe I'm just been too long and I'm just not excited to go back into...
But it'll be unranked, so you'll have fun.
Just because I care less doesn't mean I'll have more fun. It's not a... There's no direct correlation there.
I do respect the Amoongus.
Yeah, somebody presenting Amoongus. I'm trying to think of a similar... no, where is it? Hold up. It was here.
It's BS for you.
Amoongus, Jolteon, Jumpluff, Talonflame, Malamar, Poliwrath. Wasn't that the person that ran babies?
No.
Who was it?
It was another person.
Interesting. That would consistently run baby forms. That was wild. Trying to think of a similar metaphor of like just because I'm driving without a seatbelt doesn't mean I'm having more fun. I don't know. It doesn't quite work that well, but all right. We're gonna end on a bit of a community question. I'll hit the split button. We had Kecleon debut in Pokemon Go over the weekend with Chespin Community Day. So it was invisible on Pokestops after Community Day, and when you went to
initially it was after Community Day, then it became a half hour after Community Day,
and now
they're still around.
Yeah, very rare. Well, I mean they're invisible, so like, take that. Mechanically accurate. Hard to find.
It rolled really well on its stealth.
Kecleon has advantage when attacking, always. D&D jokes, haha. So it was invisible on the stop. You went to spin the stop. It activated. It showed up, and then it popped up on the map. I'm just going to put you on blast here, Jesse. Jesse, you said that it was not exciting. Or wasn't enough. You thought they could have done more when they announced it. You kind of I think I can speak for you when I say that Kecleon might have been released kind of like a wet fart.
Yes. That's accurate.
I kind of disagree. I think if you compare it to another very interesting release recently with Zorua, it didn't break the game 3 times with its release. So I think it was okay. And also like Vivillon. Vivillon wasn't like absolutely crazy. Vivillon came out and it's working and it's,
It's actually brought some fun to some people that are collectors from what I understand.
Yeah. I mean, but then once they collect all of them, then it's done. And then like the shiny will come out and people will, oh my God, banger. Hits against tables, open so many gifts, pin. That's going to be a nightmare, I'm sure.
But Vivillion's a good example of them reigniting a player base interest in a mechanic that's barely appreciated in gifting. And it's still barely appreciated, but
well, I mean, yeah.
it's something that people are now. It's kind of like what they did with.
I think it's something like that what they did with megas, but they
Yeah.
still need they need to do a bigger adjustment for it to be more like megas, where people will
actually want to do it.
Further engage with the mechanic.
Yeah. And I think as far as people just plowing through and getting the metal done as quick as they can, they've done that since the game first came out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, you and I talking about Scarlet and Violet of some of the like end game mechanics. I think game developers in some instances severely underestimate the speed and hunger in which players will complete content.
By leaps and bounds.
By orders of magnitude, yeah. Players will complete
something that they expect them to take a year, they do in a day.
They will do within a week. Yeah. It's kind of wild. What's up, HR? How you doing? Doing all right? So I think something like Pavilion, like people are like, oh yeah, it might take a little while. And people are done in a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't done any of them, so I don't have any of those dexes registered. Look at me flex. I'm lazy, not doing it. Look at that. Look at me. I'm special. But I think it came out and it worked. And like, I guess there are still some people that are like, oh hey, I'm still working on it, or oh look at me, 3 weeks later and I got all of them or whatever, on social media. But like for the most part, it's like it's come and it's gone, the big parts. And I think that's just going to be like Kecleon, where it's like, oh yeah, it's here and it's in the game, and its shiny will be released with Hoenn Tour in Vegas, and then to the public or to ticket holders in Vegas, and then 1 week later to everyone with the Hoenn Tour public event.
But that's what kind of circles back to my point of view on it, is I think they met a hard deadline and they were forced to put it out. I mean, look at what happened with Gimme Ghoul. That could have been something more, but the game had come out, so they had to throw it out.
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, you could consider so like.
And Kecleon worked with stops because it worked with Gimme Ghoul.
Well, I mean, how else did you want
AR
Kecleon? You want it in like AR photos?
Photobombs would have been plenty. I would have greatly appreciated photobombs.
Yeah. True, but then when you're taking a photobomb and you select your own, well, one, not every device functions with AR. We take for granted that AR functions incredibly well on our own devices.
Right.
When you place your own Pokemon, it has such a small view. Would you just want it off to the side, like a photobomb, like Smeargle?
Like any community day or event they do. And you don't have to have AR to be able to do it. You can do the stagnant, your buddy in the middle of the picture, and just take a...
So you had expectations of it being released one way, and because it's released another, you're disappointed?
I think it could have been done better. Sorry,
I mean,
that sounds like a broken record.
Yeah, like you're just saying, oh, it could have been done better. It could have been done. There could have been more, and
I think
trying
the concept
trying
of
to understand.
So here's my take. I guess yes. My answer was yes. I was hoping it would be done through AR because it's a chameleon and it's supposed to be blending in with things. I think the fact that the way it animates and does its cool little movement around the stop is cool. But that doesn't make me... That seems like a forced mechanic for me to have to interact with every stop, giving them geo data that I don't want to have to do.
Well, I mean, you walking around in game is giving them geodata.
Right.
Interacting with a stop is not giving them any more data than really is necessary. They can see your walk path. It doesn't matter. Points of interest are more of just like, okay, what's the stop that people are more interacting with, not necessarily more like, oh, what is this person's movement?
It's giving them data on the game board.
Sure, but again, you're still getting the same. If you want to go down the rabbit hole of like, what GPS data information is Niantic seeing from each player. They can see your
Anything.
route. Yeah.
Right.
Whether or not you interact with the stop or not.
Right.
But they'll
also,
see one stop gets more interactions than others, sure, but that's not leading to like, say, sellable data. That's leading to, okay, this stop might gets a higher priority when it comes to gyms,
events and stuff.
or events, or gimme ghoul spawns, or what.
But then the
have you.
argument could be made with the AR photo bombs. Anybody would have access to it instead of people limited to.
Sure. I mean, from what I gather of your complaint, it's not because it's not accessible. It's just you wanted more from it.
Yes.
But yes, that is a good argument of, okay, it's tied to stops, and now that Community Day is over, it's incredibly rare.
And not everybody has the number of stops like a big city does.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things of like, in the grand scheme of like a collection game, or in the collection aspect of this game, you have one, you have them all. It doesn't really matter.
Right, and it's not something that's going to change competitive or anything like that. So
heck
it's
no.
just a dex fill, sure, but you know,
What even moves does it have? I didn't even look.
I can tell you.
Is it cheeks?
Yeah.
Fast
It's
move cheeks.
Kecleon, it's
Yeah.
cheeks. It's probably like lick and pound. But I think that's just my opinion.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not. The community question aspect of this is, what are your thoughts on the release of Kecleon in Pokemon Go? Personally, this doesn't surprise me. It's an implementation of a new Pokemon in the game. What?
Lick and Sucker Punch,
That's interesting.
Thunder, Foul Play, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Aerial Ace, and Shadow Sneak.
Whoa! What is its max size CP though?
At level 50, it's 2,314.
Wait, it's Great League eligible?
161 attack, 189 defense, 155 stamina.
So it's attack weighted.
No, it's defense weighted.
Oh, is it? What?
Out of raids at level 25, it's 1462.
Okay, well, I mean, it's not going to be in raid. I mean, it could be in raids, but
Research
it's probably not
tasks
gonna
at
be in
level
raids.
15 is 877.
Wow. Jamar
Lick-
says it's a worse Snorlax. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but Snorlax doesn't have that coverage.
I'm trying to see what
Is it a?
what?
It's a comparable Linoon then,
Yeah.
with that kind of coverage.
Galarian Linoon.
That's weird.
Because regular Linoon has Shadow Claw. I would say its best move options are probably Lick. Lick, Foul Play, Aerial Ace, maybe? Shadow Sneak?
I mean, but it has. Yeah, that's.
Flamethrower and Ice Beam are just cheeks. Thunder is just...
They had no business giving it those moves. It has those moves in the game now. Like those aren't legacy.
No.
What the? Niantic, what are you playing at? What are you doing here? Niantic,
That's a very good analogy. It's a worse Snorlax.
Niantic, you're drunk. Go home.
It just doesn't have... Oh, if it got Body Slammed, though.
Actually, let me look that up. Does he get it in the main series games? Let's find out.
No.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Wait, has it shown up in a game besides Ruby and Sapphire?
It was in...
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire?
I think it was in Kalos.
Really? I mean, the one generation I didn't play, so that makes some sense. Kecleon.
Does it say what games it's been in?
Dude, it can get Protean. What?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Interesting. You're not. Oh, wow! It's in a lot more games than I would have thought. Okay, neat. Generation 8 because it's not in Generation 9 yet. Its shiny is, oh my god, that's so lackluster.
It's perfect. They need to put it in Gen 9.
Oh my god.
Its red stripe becomes blue.
Let's see. So Lick can learn Psybeam. That's fun. It can learn Shadow Claw. Does it have Shadow Claw already?
No.
It can learn Shadow Claw. Focus Punch, Water Pulse. Interesting. Solar Beam. Get beamed. Dig. It can learn Shadow Ball. Via TM. That's great. I love it. Yeah, it learns Aerial Ace via TM. That's interesting. Charge Beam.
Thief is something we don't have in Go yet.
He
That'd
can
be
learn
interesting.
Drain Punch.
Gross.
Yup.
That's a what, defense buff in Go?
I believe so.
Gross.
Grass Knot. Trick Room, but that's not gonna. Trick Room? No, there's already a move that swaps buffs and debuffs, isn't there? Or is that an ability? Skill swap? That would be an interesting.
There's both an ability and a move.
That would be a interesting Go move.
Let me use Wild Charge, then skill swap.
You are correct. Oh, Power Up Punch via an egg move. Oh, they're cooking. It can learn Power Up Punch via an egg move. That is fantastic. But you are correct. It does not learn Body Slam in its latest generation in which it's available.
Spicy Chameleon.
Yeah. Protean.
So for those who aren't familiar, Protean is when it uses a move, it changes to that type.
So it gets stab. And the resistances and everything of that move.
But Go doesn't have abilities.
Nope. So we don't have to worry too much about it. But
Drain Punch and Power Punch would be disgusting.
yeah, on a normal type, that would be whack.
It's a worse Snorlax, but you could also mention it's a worse Lickitung.
Yeah, that's true. Though it can never get Body Slam, so it can't really get on
So it
par.
can't compare to either of those.
It can't really compare to either of them, but it can be sort of like this odd alternative branch path. So, yeah, that's kind of gross. So they really didn't have to do that, and they did. So, I mean, the impressive thing is its stats actually get that high, whereas other kind of gimmicky Pokemon just don't go there.
Yeah.
Smeargle and what else am I thinking of?
Not sure.
Shuckle kind of, sort of, but it's less gimmicky and more just kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm only thinking of Smeargle. Because Vivillon actually will probably get kind of high, even though it's a bug flying and it's just not going to be super relevant anyway.
Pavilions is just as useful as Butterfree.
Yeah, bummer. I mean, kind of, sort of, but also, its stats don't change depending on its appearance, does it?
No.
Okay, didn't.
It's
think
just
so.
cosmetic.
That is cool. I do kind of appreciate that.
Yeah, community question, more or less. What were your initial thoughts for Kecleon?
Mm-hmm. Also, we can all agree that its shiny is pretty bad.
I could have sworn its shiny was all pink.
Maybe?
That is incredibly disappointing. Well, I mean, if Cerebi shows that, it's probably true.
Oh, no, its tongue changes color.
Oh, does it?
Okay. Yeah, it goes from its color and the stripe on its chest are the same color. See if I can get a sprite or something with its mouth open, and I cannot. Weird. All right. Actually, can you get Go open? My game won't open. Go to Kecleon and tap on it to see its animation. Does its tongue stick out? Because then its shiny is actually kind of somewhat relevant. I also
Its tongue doesn't stick out, but it opens its mouth.
okay. So are you able? Okay, so you are able to see its tongue. Yeah. So its shiny will have a blue tongue, like it's been eating blue raspberry candy, and died, or drinking a blue raspberry Slurpee, and it's dyed its mouth blue. That is funny. Shiny Kecleon can confirm. Shiny Kecleon has rated a 7-Eleven. Interesting. Yeah, that's some interesting spice in a normal only, like monotype normal only meta.
But I think that's the thing with normals is they're always kind of out there.
It's always weird, but they're always bad. They're all mid.
Well, what is it in Japanese? The normal typing is what, null?
No. I don't think so. I think it's basic or something. I know that dark is actually evil.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because there are some dark types that are not evil. You're looking for the direct translation?
Yeah.
I unfortunately couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Scroll back through.
Numaru.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense then why whenever you hear in the anime or something when they say evil, they say what is it? Hadu? No.
Yeah, Japanese. In Japanese, it is just normal type. Yeah, whereas dark type is evil type. What's also a really weird one? No.
Aku. Akuno. Look at me learning Japanese.
Just a little bit.
I only took it in 8th grade. It's been a while.
I didn't get to take it at all in high school. I wanted to take Japanese, but my parents were like, Spanish is going to be much more useful, so I took Spanish. And then they realized I was a total weeb, and they were like, yeah, maybe you should have taken Japanese. I was like, thanks, parents.
Yay, parenting.
Yay. When it comes to languages, unless your kid is legitimately going to use one language over another, like in a bilingual sense, let them take whatever language they want.
Yeah.
It's two classes for 2 years. Who cares?
And only remember one because it was applied to work.
I don't remember any of it anyway, so it don't really matter.
See.
Look at you being all...
No habla español.
Look at you being all intelligent in 2 different languages.
Me intelligent, please.
Bilingual. Look at that.
I can just tell you how to order McDonald's food in Spanish.
Well, I mean, you could learn how to order McDonald's food in Spanish by working at McDonald's, not necessarily taking a Spanish class.
True. Queso hamburguesa.
God, you nerd. I'm gonna stop this podcast before we start digging a hole.
Uno grandes papas fritas.
It's a French fry. 1 large French fry. Yeah.
No pepino, por favor.
I don't know what that is.
No pickles, please.
Oh, that makes sense. I should learn that one. I don't like pickles, so. Not that I'm gonna go into a situation where I need to say in Spanish, "No pickles, please," but. I don't know.
What was the one that I was told as a kid? You always want to learn how to say your name, please and thank you.
Oh, where's the bathroom?
Baños.
Yeah, well, I mean, but like in most languages, like it's kind of important.
You could also just make the motion grabbing yourself, and everyone kind of knows.
I guess.
Sorry.
That's been an episode of the Battle Science Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at battle_science. You can
jump in the Discord.
Link should be in the description down below. Again, it should still be active. If it is not, you can tweet at us, DM us, or email us at battlescience.podcast@gmail.com and let me know if that link is broken for one reason or another. JMR is giving us the skull emoji.
Probably because of my comments.
In stream chat. We're dead. Tell me something I don't know, JMR. You're telling us that we're dead. Tell me something I don't know. Go over to the youtube.com, go over to the youtube.coms, youtube.com/c/battlescience. Check out the video version of the Battle Science Podcast. You can check out some previous tournament streams, or you can check out the Go Battle League and Pokemon Ultra Sun playthrough. Previously, I will be playing some Scarlet and probably some GBL. Some GBL before Scarlet and then some Scarlet. And that will wrap up streams. I'm not going to go back and forth like I did with Ultra Sun. I think that would that pacing kind of hurt. So we'll do some GBL first. Scarlet. I'll just play through Scarlet. I was going to do a Nuzlocke. I don't know. It'd be more
Try
fun.
it and then see what you think.
Yeah, because I wasn't gonna do permit. I wasn't gonna do permadeath. I was gonna do Dark Souls-esque, where if all of my Pokemon faint, I lose all of my items, and then I can come back and reset, and I have a reset counter. What are you looking at me for? But then it's random teams, or it's a random team. So I spin a wheel on the spawn pools of each region, and then catch whatever I have. Caveats on that: I remove any Pokemon that I caught during my Scarlet playthrough because I want a fresh team. And there's a chance.
But you got the whole Pokedex.
I have a team of like 7 that I played most of the game with.
I know what you meant.
So,
I just had to be that person.
I did in fact complete the Pokedex. It's one of the first games I've ever completed the Pokedex on. Like maybe the 3rd generation I've ever completed the Pokedex on. And then boy howdy have I been getting shinies. It is easy to hunt shinies in that game. All the spawn pools, I'll remove stuff that I used frequently in my Scarlet playthrough, and then have 2 extra slots on that spin wheel, probably in like a small sliver of the first shiny I encounter in the region, which means I have to go through a shiny hunt, or a random terror raid in that region, just to spice things up. So we'll see. I gotta go through the numbers and make my spinners so I can spin the wheel and build my teams that way. So should be interesting because there's a lot of new Pokemon that I barely touched. And a lot of old Pokemon that I've also barely touched. So, we'll see how that plays. And I get to play it on stream, so that's always a little fun. I get to play the Daddy Issues version.
Jeez.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, to a Battle Science podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the Battle Science podcast with maybe some February updates and February's Silph meta, the Naiad Cup. It's a moth butterfly hybrid thingy with its emblem, so it's kind of bizarre.
I haven't even looked at it because I've been trying to focus on.
I'm a speed run what Naiad Cup is. It's bug, it's dragon, it's psychic, it's water, Greedent, Miltank, and Snorlax allowed. Banned, Dark, Fairy, Rock, Araquanid, Galarian Articuno. I guess that's a psychic. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cresselia,
the Fortress, Lantern, Medicham, and Toxapex. Is that right? Toxapex?
Yep.
So, that's one I wouldn't mind rolling on my Pokemon Violet playthrough.
One thing that is allowed that's really cheese for Ember Cup. XL Chin Chow.
That's the sound of my soul leaving my body. With that, we'll catch you in 2 weeks. Thanks everybody for listening.
Have a good night. Happy New Year.